Get ready for an adventure. Here's a story called The Sky Game's Secret. Once upon a time, high above the world, nestled among fluffy clouds and cotton candy breezes, lay the floating islands. The sun always shone there, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. The islands were home to many wonderful beings, including Prince Pirate Bear, a brave bear with a golden crown and a pirate eyepatch, who protected his kingdom with kindness. Then there was Boop the Moonbot, a tiny red robot from the moon who loved hugs. Finally, there was Angus the Adventurer, a fluffy orange explorer who loved discovering hidden treasures. Prince Pirate Bear, known for his collection of 37 different crowns and his ability to speak to woodland creatures, was preparing for the Sky High Games, a grand sports competition that everyone eagerly anticipated. He was especially excited about the building block castle competition, imagining grand fortresses with shimmering towers and secret passages. He would spend hours building incredible castles just for fun. "This year, my castle will be the tallest," he'd declare, puffing out his chest. Boop the Moonbot, whose antenna picked up dreams from sleeping children, was busy perfecting his stargazing display for the opening ceremony. He could project incredible star constellations from his eyes, and he'd been practicing the dancing dragon constellation all week. "Beep, boop," Boop would say, excitedly adjusting his tiny projector. He loved to use his space dust to make wishing powder. Angus the Adventurer, always ready for a new challenge, was preparing for the obstacle course. He loved to pack light, and his backpack was ready with snacks for the journey. He was famous for navigating by the stars, even without a map, and he always shared his trail snacks with new friends. He had his lucky leaf on his hat that was passed down from his grandparents. Felipe, a young boy from a nearby island, often visited to play soccer with the floating islanders in their free time. They'd kick the ball across the clouds, laughing as they went. But this year, the Sky High Games held a secret. A mysterious challenge, the Whispering Winds, was brewing, threatening to disrupt the games and test the bonds of friendship. No one knew what it was, but a feeling of anticipation and a hint of worry filled the air. Would it be a test of strength, a puzzle to solve, or something else entirely? The floating islanders did not know, but they knew they must be ready to face anything. The games were almost here. The day of the Sky High Games arrived, and the islands buzzed with excitement. The opening ceremony was a spectacle, with Boop the Moonbot's star show dazzling everyone. Prince Pirate Bear proudly wore his favorite crown, the one with the ruby that sparkled like the sun. Angus the Adventurer was at the starting line, ready for the cloud maze race. The maze was a swirling labyrinth of clouds, and Angus darted through it with incredible speed. He took the lead, his orange fur a blur against the white clouds. The air smelled of sugar and anticipation, just like Mariana's favorite ballet performances. Felipe and the other islanders were cheering with joy. As the competition began, Prince Pirate Bear started building his castle, piece by piece, his paws carefully placing each block. Suddenly, a strange wind, the Whispering Winds, swept through the islands. It wasn't a normal breeze. This wind seemed to carry whispers, creating arguments and confusion. The cloud maze became more difficult. The wind changed direction, and Angus found himself lost, disoriented in the swirling clouds. "Oh dear," he called, his voice carried away by the wind. Prince Pirate Bear noticed the change. The friendly competition had become a chaotic mess. The Whispering Winds were not just a natural phenomenon, they were a challenge. Some of the other competitors started arguing, and it reminded Mariana of the importance of peace and harmony. "This isn't right," Prince Pirate Bear muttered, concerned. He realized he needed help, and he needed it fast. He knew who to call. "Boop, can you help us?" Boop the Moonbot immediately sprang into action. Using his stargazing abilities, he scanned the sky, his eyes projecting constellations onto the clouds. He could see the patterns of the winds and locate the missing adventurer. "Beep, beep, Angus is trapped," Boop announced, pointing with his tiny arm. Together, Prince Pirate Bear and Boop the Moonbot, guided by the stars, set off to find Angus. The wind tugged at their fur, but they pressed on, their determination unwavering. They finally found Angus, stuck in a pocket of swirling clouds. "Are you all right?" Prince Pirate Bear asked, his voice filled with concern. Angus, relieved, shook his head. "I'm okay, but the wind is very confusing." They noticed that the wind was coming from a hidden area of the islands, and they went to the source, which was a group of mischievous cloud sprites who were feeling left out. They were causing the wind not in malice, but because they wanted to be a part of the games. They felt unseen and unheard, and the wind was a result of them being unhappy. Prince Pirate Bear, with his kind heart, understood their feelings. He knew what it was like to feel left out, and he saw their point of view. He smiled and had an idea. "We need to work together," he said. "Perhaps," Prince Pirate Bear suggested, "you could help with the games. You could design new courses, create fun obstacles, and even join the competitions." He added, "Everyone has something to offer, and working together makes everything more fun." The cloud sprites, surprised by his kindness, listened. They had never considered that they could be a part of the fun. They agreed to help, and as they joined in, the whispering winds calmed down, replaced by a gentle breeze that smelled of honey and sunshine. The sky-high games resumed, even more fun than before. Angus the Adventurer, Prince Pirate Bear, and Boop the Moonbot, along with everyone else, played games and laughed together. Prince Pirate Bear's castle was more magnificent than ever, built with the help of the cloud sprites and the other islanders. The lesson of the day was clear. Friendship, kindness, and teamwork made everything better. The sky-high games became a true celebration of unity, where everyone belonged, and the secret of the whispering winds taught everyone that working together and understanding each other leads to a greater sense of accomplishment, which is more valuable than winning. Let's see what a great listener you are. Can you answer the following question? What was the whispering winds, and what did it do to the sky-high games? Let's see how you did. The answer is, the whispering winds were a strange wind that caused arguments and confusion. They made the cloud maze confusing and caused the competitors to become disoriented. You did a great job. I hope you enjoyed this story pie tale. I'll see you next time.